And I don't know, something just drawn me to the church, and I thought, I'm going to go and have a look, see what it's like. And I come in and it was crowded, and seeing all the people. And I stood at the back of the church because I didn't know what to expect, and Mike seen me and come over to me and invited me. Anyhow, the next day, I don't know, I just got up, but I just felt the time was right for me to come. And I came the next day and loved coming, and the people here are so friendly and everybody's so kind to me. You know, I call them my church family. They're more a second family to me. It's made my life a lot better.
Yeah.
I didn't have a very good life, and since I've been coming to church, I put my trust in God, and something always works out. No matter what it is, it works out. You know, I found an happiness that I can't, it's hard to explain, but yeah.
Through doing this client video, would you recommend that more younger people come to church?
Yeah, I would. And I love everybody, and like I say, now, if anything happens, I always put my faith in God.
What was your organisation like when you first came here?
They'd have what they call an interregnum. They've been without a minister, I suppose, for most of 2015.
Yep.
And so, whilst they'd done very well in running things, it was quite important that they were looking for someone to take them to the next chapter, really, of their the lives of the church here in this part of Gorton and Abbey Hay.
What made you want to become a vicar?
I know it sounds a bit twee, but I feel that God was calling me, and He was calling me in quite an interesting way, because different people who didn't know each other said to me, have you ever thought of holy orders, or have you ever thought of ordination? And so when about the third or fourth person said that I thought about it, I thought it was about time I proceeded with how you went about doing it. So yes, it was really a mixture of different people persuading me to consider it, and then I felt God was saying something. So,
did you start at this church or somewhere else?
It's a difficult question to ask, away, because I'm responsible for 3 churches: Emmanuel, St James's, and St Philip's. Mm-hmm. So all 3 are important. But I suppose part of the picture as well is why I've come to Manchester, and that's because I know the bishop very well.
Yeah.
And you've just asked me about why I became ordained. Well, the very first person who was my training vicar is now the Bishop of Manchester, and that's the main reason that, or not the only reason, but the main reason I decided to come to Manchester was because he was my first training vicar, and he's now the bishop here. So.
Yeah. How long have you been a vicar?
Since 1993.
And how would somebody, if they wanted to become a vicar, start that process?
It's probably changed a wee bit, so best to answer it from my own experience. You basically go and have a word with the vicar of the church you go to,
yeah.
And they then have a discerning process, and if they feel that you are ready, you then have to go and speak to what they call a director of ordinance, and in my case that meant 7 or 8 interviews.
Yeah.
And only after 7 or 8 interviews, if the director of ordinance is happy, you then go to a 3-day selection conference, and if they're happy, you then get sponsored for theological college. And in my day and age, if you were under 30 when you started training, you did 3 years. If you were over 30, you did 2 years. Now, don't ask me why it was that arbitrary, because I've no idea, but as I did 3 years of training, I'll leave you to guess as to what age I was when I started training.
The Lord is here. Lift up your heart. Let's give thanks to the Lord our God. Thanks God in Christ our risen Lord. The whole church throughout the world, we offer you this sacrifice of praise and lift our voice. Our Father in heaven, hallowed be your name. Your kingdom come, your will be done, on earth as it is in heaven.
How long have you been coming here?
Well, ever since this particular church was built, but before that it used to be All Saints, and that burnt down in 1963, just after we got married, and this was built or opened in 1973. So I've been coming since I was 6 years old, and that's 74 years ago. So
What made you start coming to church?
Well, it was first of all, it's Sunday school. You had to go to Sunday school then.
Yeah.
And then I joined the Cubs, the Scouts, and so on, until really I started getting into the administration side of the church. But it's always been a central part of our lives.
Apart from Sundays, do you come any other days?
And all the specific days, unless there's something on.
What makes you come back every week?
Really, I suppose it's just, I'm the treasurer now, so
Yeah.
I should always be around when there's money in the place and being able to take it away before anybody else gets hold of it. But in spite of that, I mean, I've got a lot of friends here.
Yeah.
We're a small congregation and everybody knows everybody else. It's very friendly, it's a very happy place as well.
So apart from everything that we've done today, is there any special occasions that happen on a regular basis? So, like, how often do you have weddings here?
Oh, now that's a moot point because it's not a particularly old church. Brides don't seem to like it. They want the old-fashioned church like St. James.
Yeah.
You know, this doesn't have a steeple, it doesn't have a nice big reredos on the altar. So it's unfortunate, but we do occasionally get them.
Yeah.
I think we get more funerals than weddings, so then the main person doesn't bother about what the church is like. You know.